Hey, I'm Scott, and this is a portal into another dimension. Hey, this is Scott, and welcome to the channel, or welcome back. Today we're talking about this nice large monitor from Osee. I personally love Osee products. They make really high quality monitors for really pretty decent prices when you compare it to the competition. They're not meant for the super budget market, so keep that in mind, but they are very affordable when you compare them to other monitors with similar specs. And what's really awesome about this monitor in particular is it supports HDR and it's ultra bright at 1000 nits, which is amazing for a monitor of this size. As for other features, this will for the most part have everything you need. It takes 10-bit signals from HDMI or SDI. It can use VMOT batteries, Anton Bauer batteries, and of course wall power as well. It has LUT support, has all of the assist features that you could imagine, including some pretty unique ones like different modes of false color built specifically for different camera models. It can sit on a table as it is now, or you can mount it on a C-stand, and it even comes with a giant sun hood just in case that 1000 nits of brightness isn't quite enough for you. I'll make a separate video to run through the menu item by item in case you want to see exactly what's in there, but for today we're going to see what's included in this kit. We'll take a closer look at the actual physical body of the monitor as well, and I will point out some things that I think you should know that might not be completely obvious when you first take this out of the box. So when you first get this, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to come in this custom cut foam, but it does not have a carry case with it. We'll talk about that in just a second. There are of course a few kits that you can get with this. You can get the monitor itself or with a V-mount plate or Anton Bauer battery plate, and all of this stuff comes in the kit. Right down here you can see the little kind of spigot or screw to tighten in the C-stand mount, which is already attached to the monitor itself, which you will see in just a moment. We'll put that aside, I guess. And here is the giant sun hood. So the sun hood you will attach to the monitor itself with these little snaps, just like a jacket or something like that. And I think it's actually a really nice way to attach the sun hood because it's really solidly on there. The sun hood itself is really solid anyway, but attaching it with these snaps is quick and easy, and it holds it on there very securely. That's all for this top section here, and when you lift that up, you can see the monitor itself. By the way, they also do sell a little cheese plate that you can put on the back of this monitor, and unfortunately that's not included in the kit. Of the optional accessories, that is the only thing that's not included in the kit, so I kind of wish that they just did, because it could be really useful for mounting a wireless receiver or something like that on the back of this monitor. So one little point of recommendation would be that they just include that in the kit as well when people are buying the kit instead of just the monitor by itself. Anyway, back to the case issue, and like I said, you don't get like an actual carry case with it, you just get this custom cut foam, but do not throw this out because what you can get is a nice hard case like this one from SKB. And when you open this up, well, there's nothing in there. This is just a nice hard shell, very protective, waterproof case from SKB, but fits like a glove. So yeah, sorry, I'm shooting on my widest lens right now and you can't really see the entire case here, but this fits in here absolutely perfectly. And I'll put a link to this SKB case down in the video description, but it really fits in here nice and perfect. And this will make it really easy to transport this from place to place because it's going to be safe in here no matter what. You've got this custom cut foam inside of a very protective hard shell case that's also waterproof. So whether it's raining or whatever, you're always going to be ready. And it's just like this case was made for this custom foam, but more likely this custom foam was made for this case. So since this is of course in the case now, you do have this little kind of rope thing here to pull up on this bottom layer to get into the monitor, which is below that, and let's do that right now. These feet to stand this on a table are already attached and they fit right in here with that on. And like I said, I do have the C-stand adapter on the back here and it fits in there as well. The only thing you need to keep in mind when you put this in here is to make sure that this little carry handle on the back here is folded down, so that way this can fit into the foam insert. If this is up, it's going to block that. I know it seems weird because you think this is flatter, but actually having this down is going to let you put it in this case. So if it doesn't fit, just check that, and that's probably why. Anyhow, again, in the kit, this is the V-mount battery plate. I got it with the cable that attaches it to the monitor. This is the C-stand mount right here where you can screw that little spigot thing that I showed you into here to keep it tightened down on your C-stand. And also this is where you would attach the accessory mounting plate if it was included in the kit. Up at the top here, you have some kind of soft foam that's filling in this space, and underneath that you have the cable if you want to plug this into the wall. Now, this is not extremely long, but you know, if you're near a wall, then you can use it. If not, otherwise, probably battery power is going to be the way to go to power this monitor. And that's all she wrote. Again, be sure to check out this case in the video description if you do get this monitor. I think this is something that you really absolutely need to get your hands on as well. So this is the monitor here, of course, and this will work for you in pretty much any situation, whether you're indoors or you're outdoors where you need that high bright design with or without the sun hood. If you want to shoot HDR content or standard content, just in any situation that you could possibly find yourself in, this is going to be there for you 100%. The fan in here does kick on though at higher brightnesses or in HDR modes, so keep that in mind if you're in a tight space where audio is critical. But yeah, if you're a single shooter, maybe this is not completely necessary, but as soon as you start shooting with 2, 3, 4 people, who want to have a view at what you're recording, something like this becomes extremely useful, and it has been extremely useful to have on set when I'm shooting with other people who, want to have input into what's going into the video. And once you use it that way, it's actually hard to go back even when you're shooting by yourself. Anyway, what you've got here is a simple design. On the front, you have, of course, the large 21.5-inch screen, which is kind of like a matte finish, which will help to avoid glare. It's not going to give you that same punch that, a glossy screen will, but it's definitely going to make it a lot easier to see your image without any, glaring distractions. On the bottom here, you have some buttons to do things like navigate through the menu and to turn on and off custom functions, things like that. And we'll get into that in just a minute. But they're not actual physical raised buttons. They are kind of flat into the body of the frame of this monitor. And I would have preferred to have something a little bit more tactile that feels a little bit more physically responsive, but in any case, they work well enough, and it's one of my only complaints with this monitor. So there are a few things that I want to talk about that aren't complaints. They're just things that I think you need to know because they're not necessarily obvious right away when you take this out of the box. And one of those we already mentioned is that the power switch on the back is only a power switch if you're using this off-wall power. And while there is another power button on the front of the monitor, just pressing it won't do anything. You're going to need to hold it down for a couple of seconds to put it into standby mode and then press it once more to turn it back on. Another thing to note is that when you're going through the menu, which you can access by this OK/menu button, after you switch something, for example, changing this video port to off, if you just go back, it will reset and it won't actually save that setting that you just adjusted. So what you want to do is you want to go in there, make your switch, and then press the OK button, and it will confirm that and then back out. So just changing it and then going back is not going to retain those settings, which, if you are not aware of that, can be annoying and frustrating. But once you know that, it just gives you an option to quickly undo changes that you've made. So you can try things out. This is obviously something simple, but you can try things out, try different settings with, your assist features and so on, see how it looks. And then if you want to revert back or cancel that, you can just back out without saving your settings, which I think is actually pretty useful. One more thing to note is that while in the menu here on this color management page, you will find a lot of settings for things like gamma, color temperature, your color space, and so on. You won't find things like contrast, saturation, and brightness in here. And if you're looking for that, you might wonder where it is, and you might wonder why it's left out of the menu. But if you close out of this menu actually, and you press either the up or down arrow, you can cycle through this kind of quick menu for some of those settings, the image settings, which will be maybe a little bit more frequently used. So you can cycle through backlight, which is the monitor's brightness itself, sharpness, brightness, which is the image's brightness, contrast, saturation, and your volume. So these things might be accessed a little bit more frequently, so they put them here in this quick menu, so you don't have to actually dive through the menu itself, go through different pages of settings to find those things. You can adjust them very quickly. Maybe if you're switching between cameras or backlight when you're going from indoors to outdoors, you might want to adjust those things more frequently than things like your color space. I'm not going to go over in depth my personal settings because I think they'll probably differ from what you need to set in here, but I did tweak some of those color and other image settings to try and match what I saw on my camera's monitor. But I was able to get it there, and the image itself looks really, really great. The colors, the sharpness, everything like that look really, really great on here. You can see the image just fine from wide angles, like even this angle that I'm sitting at right now, I can see the image no problem whatsoever. And even at the lower brightnesses, it's fairly bright. And at those lower brightnesses, you can run off a smaller 98 watt hour or even a 150 watt hour battery for an extremely long time, even when you're powering something else like a wireless receiver off that same battery. I would tell you exactly how long you could run it off one of those batteries for, but to be completely honest with you, I have never even come close to killing a battery when I'm using this on set, and I've shot with it for hours, and then I always recharge my batteries when I get home, so I can't honestly tell you that. But at the lower brightness settings, at the lower backlight settings for the monitor, you can run it for quite a long time off a reasonable sized battery. So again, if you want to see more details about exactly what's in the menu and exactly how to navigate through that menu with this interface, I will make a dedicated video for that, and I'll link it in the video description. So before you ask questions about how do you do this, or does it have this, be sure to check out that video because the answers you're looking for might be included there. But I will say this, Osee makes really solid monitors, both physically and software wise. I've been using their HCM700 for quite a while now, and I've absolutely loved it. It has everything that I could possibly need in a monitor. It's built like a rock, and it's been living on my smaller portable director monitor's cage for a while now, and it's just really wonderful. It's, like I said, rugged, it's bright, has a very clear, sharp image, and it has everything built in that I could possibly need. There are other good, cheaper monitors on the market that will do the trick, but I have no doubt that my Osee monitors will last me a much longer time, and they're also going to be a lot more rugged, take a lot more of a beating, which if you're constantly on the go, that could be something that's really important. So even if you don't need this large of a monitor, they do also have a smaller, still large version, a 17-inch version, as well as some smaller 7-inch and 5-inch monitors. I really highly recommend that you go on over to their website. Again, that link will be in the video description, and check out all of the monitors that they have available, because they're all going to be choices that you would not regret. So if you like this video, feel free to leave me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Subscribe to see more, and hit the little bell icon to make sure that you get notifications when new content is uploaded. As always, thank you for watching.